The assassination attempt on Trump during a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, has raised numerous questions about security protocols and response effectiveness. This tragic event resulted in Trump being wounded, 2 others seriously injured, and 1 person losing their life. The incident has since become a focal point for multiple investigations and public scrutiny, particularly concerning the performance of the Secret Service and law enforcement. The shooter, 20-year-old Thomas Crooks, was unknown to federal authorities before the attack. Despite carrying out a high-profile assassination attempt, Crooks was not on the FBI's radar, highlighting a potential gap in intelligence gathering and threat assessment. The attack, which occurred during a public event with significant security measures in place, has raised alarms about the vulnerabilities in protecting high-profile figures. Kimberly Cheadle, the director of the Secret Service, faced intense scrutiny following the attack. Her appearance before the House Judiciary Committee was marked by dissatisfaction among lawmakers, who criticized her responses as inadequate. The Secret Service, an agency known for its zero-fail mission, appeared to have fallen short in this instance. Cheadle's resignation shortly after the hearing was a direct response to the overwhelming criticism and the clear security lapse under her leadership. In the aftermath of the shooting, multiple investigations have been launched to understand how the event could have occurred despite the extensive security measures. The Department of Homeland Security's Inspector General is conducting several probes, and an internal review by the Secret Service is also underway. Also, Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas appointed an independent review panel, emphasizing the seriousness of the incident. A bipartisan task force, led by Speaker of the House Mike Johnson and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, has been established to investigate the attempted assassination. This task force consists of 13 members and is charged with examining the circumstances surrounding the attack, including potential security failures and the motivations behind the shooter's actions. Their findings will be crucial in understanding how this breach occurred and what can be done to prevent similar incidents in the future. The most pressing questions revolve around how Crooks was able to position himself on a nearby roof and open fire. Reports indicate that Crooks may have used a bike to scout the area before the shooting. New body cam footage released shows law enforcement interacting with the Secret Service after Crooks was killed, further shedding light on the moments following the attack. Despite warnings from a sniper team that had spotted Crooks before the shooting, it appears that these signals were not effectively acted upon. This attack resulted in the death of 1 person and critically injured 2 others. The FBI is now under pressure to uncover all aspects of this incident, including the motivations behind it and any possible security failures that allowed it to happen. The director of the FBI, Christopher Wray, recently testified before the House Judiciary Committee. This testimony came just days after Kimberly Cheadle, the former director of the Secret Service, gave her own testimony about the event. While Cheadle focused on the Secret Service's role, Wray's testimony was centered on the FBI's investigation into the shooter and the planning behind the attack. Wray began his statement by offering his condolences to the victims of the attack. He expressed his deep sorrow for those who were injured and for the family of Corey Comparator, who lost his life protecting others during the shooting. Wray emphasized that the FBI views this assassination attempt as an attack on democracy itself, and he made it clear that political violence will not be tolerated in any form. The House Judiciary Committee, led by both Republicans and Democrats, is united in seeking answers about this attack. They are determined to ensure that the investigation is thorough and transparent. This bipartisan effort is unusual in today's political climate, but underscores the seriousness of the attack and the need for accountability. Wray assured the committee and the American people that the FBI is dedicating all of its resources to this investigation. He mentioned that both criminal and national security divisions of the FBI are involved in the probe. Wray also noted that while much work has already been done, there is still a long way to go before the full story of what happened is known. He also acknowledged the significant public and congressional interest in the investigation. He stated that while the investigation is ongoing, the FBI's understanding of the case continues to evolve. The agency is cautious in releasing information to avoid providing premature or incorrect details. Despite this, Wray provided some specific updates about the investigation, including new findings about Crooks and his actions before the shooting. One of the critical pieces of evidence recovered by the FBI is a drone that was found in the shooter's vehicle. This drone was flown around the area where the rally took place on the day of the shooting. The FBI determined that Crooks flew the drone between 3:50 p.m. and 4:00 p.m., approximately 2 hours before the shooting began. The drone was operated about 200 yards away from the stage, and it was used to live stream footage, likely to monitor the area before the attack. This evidence suggests that the shooter planned his actions carefully, using the drone to survey the location before opening fire. The investigation also uncovered 3 explosive devices connected to Crooks. 2 of these devices were found in his vehicle, while the third was located at his residence. These devices were relatively crude, but they were capable of being detonated remotely. The shooter had receivers for the devices in his vehicle and carried a transmitter with him when he was killed by law enforcement. The FBI is currently analyzing these devices to understand more about their construction and potential use. In addition to the physical evidence, the FBI is closely examining Crooks' digital footprint. Investigators encountered challenges in accessing his phone due to encryption, but they have since gained access to it. They discovered that Crooks was using encrypted messaging applications, which has become a common practice among individuals planning such attacks. The FBI is reviewing his communications and social media accounts to gather more information about his ideology, state of mind, and any potential co-conspirators. The investigation also includes a critical time frame during the attack, specifically the 5 minutes between when Crooks was identified on the roof and when former President Trump was escorted off the stage. This period is crucial as it includes the time when shots were fired. The FBI is interviewing law enforcement officers who were present at the scene to piece together the events of those minutes. So far, investigators have recovered 8 cartridges, indicating that Crooks fired 8 shots during the attack. While Crooks is the primary focus of the criminal investigation, the FBI is also working to determine if he had any accomplices or co-conspirators. This aspect of the investigation is crucial to ensuring that all individuals involved in the planning and execution of the attack are held accountable. The FBI's work is ongoing, and they continue to gather and analyze evidence to provide a complete picture of the events leading up to and during the assassination attempt. The FBI's investigation into the attack on former President Trump is complex and evolving. The agency is committed to thoroughly understanding the shooter's motives, actions, and any potential connections to other individuals. As the investigation progresses, more details will likely emerge, shedding light on this tragic event and helping to prevent similar attacks in the future. The public and congressional interest in this case underscores the importance of the FBI's work in protecting national security and upholding the rule of law. One of the biggest questions surrounding this case is the motive behind Crooks's actions. The FBI is focusing on this aspect, but so far, they have not been able to determine a clear reason for the attack. Crooks had images of various public figures on his phone, including former President Trump and President Biden, which adds to the complexity of understanding his intentions. But the FBI director clarified that these images appeared to be from general news article searches rather than targeted research on specific individuals. This distinction is important because it suggests that Crooks might not have been fixated on any particular person, but was instead browsing through information on public figures more generally. Another puzzling aspect of this case is how Crooks managed to access the roof of the building from which he carried out the shooting. Initially, there were reports that he might have used a ladder, possibly purchased from a Home Depot. But Director Wray confirmed that no ladder was found at the scene. Instead, the FBI now believes that Crooks climbed onto the roof using mechanical equipment on the ground and vertical piping on the side of the building. This new information raises further questions about the planning and execution of the attack, suggesting that Crooks may have been more resourceful than initially thought. The FBI also recovered 14 weapons from Crooks' residence, which adds another layer to the investigation. The presence of these weapons indicates that Crooks might have been preparing for a larger-scale attack or was otherwise heavily armed. The FBI has pieced together Crooks' movements leading up to the shooting. He visited the premises 3 separate times, with the first visit happening a week before the event. During this initial visit, Crooks spent around 20 minutes on the grounds. On the morning of the event, he returned and stayed for about 70 minutes before leaving again. His final visit in the afternoon included his drone activity, which was part of his preparations for the attack. One of the most chilling discoveries is a search Crooks made on his laptop. On July 6th, just before registering for the Butler rally, he searched, "How far away was Oswald from Kennedy?" This search, linked to the shooter's laptop, suggests a possible connection in his mind between the assassination of President Kennedy and his plans for the rally. So, what do you think about this? Comment down your thoughts right now, and while you're down there, make sure to hit that subscribe button as well.